Right. Let's just let that catch up a minute. Quickly close that down while I go and where are we? My channel. No, not that one. Right, so hello everyone. Welcome back to our live stream, which goes out every Wednesday night, give or take, you know, unless anything happens. Sorry. Oh, yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? Let's put something in for it to focus on. There we go. It doesn't matter if my face is blurry because it's dreadful to look at anyway. So yeah, it comes out every Wednesday night. We do this live stream. We've tried all sorts on here really of late, but we've settled on just an informal evening with just showing some bits I've built, building some bits, general chit chat, and you know, if any people want to drop in, they can. That's fine. So it's less of a show now, more of a, you know, just a live stream. Hence, we've dropped the term show and gone with live stream because that's what it is. So what have we got tonight? Well, I'm going to reveal my ICM build that I have finally finished. It's taken me a long time to do this one, but I'm really pleased with it now, and I'm going to show that tonight. I released a tiny video of it yesterday, I think, on Facebook, but I'll show you tonight, and see what you think of it. And then last week I apologize, I forgot to do the bargain basement piece, in which I go and select all the best bargain basement things that I can find in Mike Jolly's bargain basement, so to speak, or all the best deals, not so much bargain basement, best deals. And I had them all written out because it takes me quite a bit of time to do them. I mean, what was it, 29th of August? Yeah, they're all written out, what they are, and I forgot all about it, clean forgot. And I remembered just as I was saying good night and see you next week. I remembered at that point, and it was like, oh, damn. It's too late then, because I was my finger was hovering over the end broadcast, and such is life. Anyway, so we've got a new set tonight of them. I've got to remember to do them, and that's about it really. Angela's doing the chat, so you know, if you've got anything you want to ask or you're chatting amongst yourselves, then she will be in there. Say hello and whatever. And I think that's all there is to say from that point of view. So let's just have a quick look at what I've done during the week, because I got a bit of mojo back this week and I managed to do a few bits and pieces. So we'll have a look. We'll start with one I've done today, actually. I managed to knock out another episode on the Airfix build. So the Airfix version I'm doing, it's the 124th Mark 5B kit that Airfix brought out. It's an old kit, It's very much a maligned kit. It's very poor in terms of flash and so on, you know, it's been marketed by many people as a bit of a shit kit. And as most of you know, if it's a shit kit, I like to take it on. It's a bit of a challenge. So I have took this on, and you know, I'm happy with it, but only you guys can judge whether I've successfully lifted it out of the realms of shit kit, or whether it's firmly planted, or maybe I've made it even worse. So we'll have a look. So I'm just going to bring that down. I'm going to remember this week to do that. And how far? Well, on the fuselage, you can see this is how far we got. There's been no progress made since I believe the last time I showed this on the show, live stream. Sorry, made some panel lines. I've rescribed a lot of the panel lines, and that's about it really. You know, all these seam lines are gone. They look really good. It's looking good. There's nothing else to say on that at the moment. That is looking good. You know, we'll wait and see what happens in the next, you know, few steps or whatever. But at the moment, I can't fault that. So we moved on to the wings at the bottom. And today, in today's episode of the build, we started tackling the guns, cannons, whatever you want to call them, and the internal elements on the wing. So when I say internal elements, I mean the green paint. It's just a fancy word for saying I put green paint on. So it's been it has been primed, and that primer is UMP Badgerstein or Res, whatever your preferred name for that is. And on top of that, what we then done was we just hand painted these guns with Tamiya X10, which is gunmetal, and they've come out really well. I've got to say, I'm really pleased with them. You can't see no brush strokes, so you know, I'm happy with those. I'll give you a quick, see if we can get a better look in there. Now, I'm hoping to display some of these guns, not all of them. So obviously there's going to be parts of the wings on the top open. So I've gone around the openings in the cockpit green paint that I've used on the cockpit, obviously. So that you know, obviously when the opening's up, we will see the green instead of the primer underneath. So that's where that is at the moment. I've used, I gave, I've never used it before, but we gave Vallejo's metal varnish a go on the Tamiya X10. And I don't think it's that bad, actually. So now the next step in the next show, we're going to put a wash over the guns, because I think they'd have gun oil and stuff on them, and there'd be carbon deposits from firing and so on. So, you know, we're going to look at weathering them a little bit for display. So that's where the Spitfire's at. Did I show the fit of the, because one of the areas that they deem this to be a poor kit is on the fit of this base onto the wings. Now, I can't remember whether I've shown this on the live stream before or not. If I have, forgive me, but I've got to say the fit at the moment, let me just slot it all in. There we go. I mean, it's going to be clamped. It's got to be clamped with glue, but I can tell you that that fit looks pretty damn good when it's all clamped down. Let's just get need that bit straight there. We're probably going to have a little bit of an issue at the top corner here, but all in all, I think that's going to be a good fit. We'll wait and see. I haven't tried the top ones on yet, but we'll wait and see on that. Right, and now for the ICM kit. So if I just put that on there, let's just take me cover off. Problem is, you're not going to see very much from up there. We'll just put the should have plugged the other camera in, really.
Finally doing it on. That's it, it's running now.
Yeah. So you can only see it from the top at the moment. Obviously, I will just show you it in a second. So you can see the top of her hat. That's good. That was a bit of a waste of time pulling that out, actually, with the camera the way it is. I wonder, there's no... Oh, I could. No. I've got the other camera here. So it's all on a tripod. So... didn't think about this. Yeah, there we go. This is not a problem. Hopefully, I don't know whether, I can't remember, have we managed to successfully change camera during a broadcast? First time for everything. Let's see. Let us see. I'm just going into the settings just to see if I can.
What you having for tea, Steve? Anything nice?
No, it's not going to. I don't think it's picked it up. Sadly, no. Okay, we'll have to do it this way. I thought I might have got away with plugging the camera in. There we go. Oh, hold on a sec. We've come up. There we go. Right. Aha. So let me see. Just a little bit of adjustment needed. We're going to drop this down a little bit more. Like that. Can we get a bit of light on? So here we go. This is the ICM 1/16 scale Royal Canadian Mounted Police Officer, and with her she has, I think it's a Husky. So I spent a lot of time doing this kit, and there were many reasons for this. It went together a dream. The kit fell together. I mean, it's very basic. It's just arms, legs. The dog came in some funny shapes and pieces that had to be stuck together, and the dog actually had horrible seam lines all over it. So if we concentrate on the dog first, the dog had an awful seam line that ran from top to bottom, and then from about quarter of the way up, it was like a Y shape, an inverted Y. And there was also a step as well. So even if you painted it, it looked dreadful. So basically, I sanded it all down, which of course removed all of the detail on it. We can now move to, let me just try and see. So what I'd done was using my favourite filler primer, which is, oh, it's gone again, Mr. Surfacer 500. I basically painted the back with Mr. Surfacer 500 over the incisions, the seam lines, and then sort of blended it in with the rest of the fur that hadn't lost its detail, which you can see down the side here. And then I basically just started making hair out of the Mr. Surfacer. I used toothpick. I used what else did I use? A toothpick, an old sort of brush, a bristle brush. I used one of these, a bit of an older one that had less bristles on it, and I think the result is very good. I'm very pleased with the result, and it's come off very well. Thank you. The next step was I wanted the black and white dog. I discarded the picture of the dog completely. So I didn't look at the picture at all during painting of this. Initially, I had started to, but I realized I would get a far better result if I just made it my own, done my own thing. The fact that it does look quite close to the one in the picture is coincidental, I think. Maybe memory of that as I was working with it. So initially I painted it black and white, and it just didn't look right because you'd got hard borders leading into white, and it just didn't look right at all. So I sat and had a thought about it, and I have to give thanks to Gilbert Mondragon here, because he once gave me a little lesson on some blending on a piece that I was working on at the time, and I've used a similar technique here, and I started blending the black into the white, and thankfully I got these lovely soft transitions. They're quite short. They're not lengthy transitions. They're quite short, but that I think is how it probably is with the dogs. And then the final thing I wanted to do was to add a little bit of brown, because in most dogs somewhere there's a little bit of brown, and the white was too white. So I added some buff on the chest and little sort of patches on the leg. And then I came along and added a slightly pink to his belly. Sorry, I'm covering that up, which is, I don't know if we can see, just sort of his belly in there. And that was the buff I was talking about. Is it going to come into focus? Come on, into focus. I have got to get some card. Right, so we'll try and, if we're lucky, catch up with that. The light won't reach over anymore.
By the time you remember to get cards, it'll run out of fashion.
So then we came on to the nose and the eyes and the ears, sorry. So I'd done the face. The face was quite a task for me because it's such a small area. And everything you see was done by hand with a paintbrush. The nose, I initially done brown with ink, but I wasn't too happy with the results. Let me just try something. I have an idea that may work, may not. But I've got the matte sheet underneath. No, I've got. Let's just try it that way for a minute. I have got the matte underneath there. Right, let's try that. And turn that down a fraction. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Come back a bit. But it was all right till it, there we go. And that's when I put my hand in it. Oh, there we go. Right, so and the eyes were done with a dark brown ink as well, De La Rowney. And I think the eyes came out well. I did try on the lady, I used the decal set. Did not work for me. I went through 3 sets of eyes. Whether it was the decals were not very good. They were on a continuous backing sheet. So the eyes had to be cut from the backing, and they were just so tiny because it wasn't the whole eye. It was just an eyeball. And we'll see hers in a second. And again, I went in a little bit of pink on the ears with a white border, sort of tips to them. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the dog, and a little bit of a wash in between the claws just to define those. And so the dog came out a treat. I couldn't have hoped for better, and I was very pleased with it. Moving round, one of the last things I put on was the dog lead. And the dog lead is actually an elastic band that I cut up. I had to cut it in half with a scalpel because it was too wide. And then I had to find an area on the collar to place it so it looked natural. So we went in on the top and I glued it to a hand as well. But the problem was, because it was an elastic band, this area here kept pinging up and it was sort of sticking out there like a weird bumper. And every time I tried to pull it back down, it'd just fly up again. So I actually had to just put a tiny spot of glue on the dog just there, just to hold it down. And I actually think that works better than the fact where I'd left when I was leaving it. I didn't originally imagine there was just going to be a loop. But I think it's much more natural the way it sits there. So happy mistake. And then moving on to the lady. Now the lady was a challenge in some respects. The face I found the most difficult. Let's see if we can come in, if you can see the face. The face was redone 5 times, I think, in the end. I just was not happy with it. Every time I'd done it, I was not happy with it. This is the closest I've come to accepting it as done. I don't think it's perfect in any way, the face. It's just acceptable. Of the whole model, for me, the face is probably the weakest point. I don't know how well that's coming through because of the trying to.
Just sort of there around.
Yeah, let me see if I can. I know what. If I can just somewhere around here, I've got a head torch which might help. Might help, might make it worse because it's going to show all the faults up. Right, I don't know if that's going to work or not. Yeah, it is. It's just. Hold on now. If that would just go there. No. Right, well, I just can't, sorry, I can't get that into focus. So bloody annoying that is. Really frustrating. Yeah, I mean, there will be pictures going up of this. So, yeah, the face was the most problematic. And the first time I done the face, it was easy. Because I'd got the face on a little cocktail stick. The second time, again, it was okay. The third and fourth times, I'd actually got the head glued onto the body, and I partially ruined the red coat when I was removing certain areas of the face, which meant I ended up at one point having to totally redo her red coat, which was very annoying. But, you know, it got done. The red coat I'm really happy with. It's come out really well. I like the gold buttons. I kept everything like matte. I wanted the coat to be matte, and the trousers with the yellow line down. Those were done. The yellow line was done by hand, and with a hairy stick. There were no sort of masks used, no masking tape. We couldn't get away with it because of all the wrinkles in the trousers. The masking tape just wouldn't conform. I did try, but it wouldn't conform, so it didn't work. So they were all done by hand, and the boots were painted brown, Tamiya dark brown. And then what I done was afterwards, I came along and sprayed everything matte, and then I selected the leather pieces and I used Dale Rowney dark brown ink and went over each of the leather pieces with that. And the thing is, the Dale Rowney ink over the top of a brown, it gives it a sort of patterned leather look. and you get these subtle shadows and where the ink's darker in some places than it is in others, and it gives a beautiful leather finish, I think, to any leather belt or item. The only problem is some of these belts I've painted over so many times because I've had to redo areas around it that it almost starting to look black instead of the dark brown that it is. So that's something that I learnt during the process as well. Prime example here is the gloves. They are dark brown, but as you can see, I've had to go over them a few times and they probably look more black than anything. A bit of dry brushing on the boot laces. That was done with the remains of the white, whatever this cord is that she's got round her neck. I had a little bit of white left over, so I dry brushed, got rid of nearly all of the white paint off it, and I just done a bit of dry brushing on the laces on the side and on the front, and went round, made sure all the buttons were done the way they should be. And then on the bottom, on the base plate, it's just PVA glue and some, I don't know what this stuff is called. It was given to me by a friend, and I've got various colors. So initially I just had the one color down, but I didn't think it looked very good, just the one color. So I mixed in a lighter color, and I actually think it looks a lot better than just the one color. It looks, you know, variation in the tones of the grass or whatever it is she stood on. And then finally it came to the base. Now this was done very easy, but it took me a couple of weeks of trial and error before I finally found the look that I wanted in the base. So I know I wanted the base to look wooden. Now I did toy with the idea of actually going out and getting some wood and sort of varnishing that up, but that would have cost more money than we had available. So it was down to what I could manipulate and deceive people into thinking they were seeing. And so this basically, what you're looking at is a dark brown base or a light brown. You know, this would be the base. It was obviously grey. I primed it and then painted it with this Tamiya colour. And then I went over with Life Colours. Just bear with me while I grab it. This is Life Colours Rough Light Brown. I used a sort of rough brush, and I just brushed around the base. I literally wanted it to look like a very, very rough first coat. And you know, you can see where it's, you know, it's just literally, I loaded the brush up once and done the whole bottom, and then over the top I just sprayed Tamiya yellow clear and some red clear, and I think that looks fantastic. It really does look how I wanted it. It's got a cherry red sort of feel to it, like a cherry red mahoganies. You know the one I mean. It does look a tad bit more vibrant on the screen than it actually is.
It's not as dark. It's not as light as that.
Yeah, that on that screen that looks red, but it's yeah, you're not seeing it. It's a bit too vibrant that on the screen, isn't it?
You mean the light? Not much brighter.
But yeah, so there she is. I'm just going to leave her revolve just for a minute without any speaking from me, so you can enjoy it.
You just want to play with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got that.
It's the small things that make you happy.
It is. Anyway, enough of that. So there she is. She's done. And that's probably the first kit I think maybe I finished in the last few months. And I'll give thanks to Bob because Bob won this kit on E-Models, and Bob didn't like, doesn't do kits, sorry, not didn't like, doesn't do kits. And he kindly asked me if I would like it. I jumped at the chance, and I thank him immensely. So thank you very much for that, Bob. I really enjoyed it, and I hope I built it to your satisfaction.
There's a damn good job, that means you want it back?
Yeah, no, you can't have it.
I'll fight you for it.
Oh, no, not having any of that. Right. There we go. So I'm just going to put these cameras back now. Oh. Well, there, see there, now you see it, it's more of the colour that it is, isn't it?
Oh, brighter on the screen than it actually is.
Oh, forget you saw that. We'll edit that bit out.
No editing on this show.
Put that up there. Right. And we just need to move back. There we go. We're back now. Let's move that camera off to one side for a moment. So we've got a couple of options tonight for the build, for the building anyway. We can do some more of the HMS Victory, which is sat over the back there. That needs to be moved along a little bit. Or we can do a bit more of the build that Angela started many weeks ago on the channel. I can't remember what it was. Let me just see. It was the Blue Angels. I had got the instructions ready. Where did I put them?
Well, that's that not getting done. You've had all of them, they're lost forever.
Well, bugger me, I'll put them. I had them out in my hands. There they are.
Yeah.
So.
Bob says do the trade. Bob, we're off. Bob says the Hornet.
Right, the Hornet. Yeah, that's what it was, wasn't it? Can't remember where we got to, but it's under here. So Hornet it is, unless anyone says otherwise. I don't know how far we'll get. No, because I did start going over it again and just rectifying some of the mistakes you'd made.
They're only mistakes to you.
Well, you've got the... You got some bits on back to front. Actually, I got a bit further than I got a bit further than I thought. So, oh, it's 1/72nd. It's a Diddy one. Right, so we're at this stage, whatever this stage is. It is. We've still got the decals in here, so that's okay. Let's get some sprues up on the rack. Great bit of kit, this. I don't know, you can't see it, but it's just there. This sprue rack is absolutely fantastic. The amount of times I got frustrated with picking a sprue up, taking the piece off, and then going in the box, and the next sprue would be at the bottom. We've got what appears to be a landing gear there. We've got the crystal parts there. Right, so let's take, oh, we've got some, oh, we've got some more pieces here. That looks like a pitot tube. Or maybe a refueling probe, I don't know. Oh, we've got loads of tiny pieces. Oh dear, where did that go? That isn't, oh, there it is. Right. This was bought at Telford last year. Angela paid £5 for it. Good buy, I think, because it's a lot dearer than that to get now. So we've just got to work out now roughly where Angela had got to. Now, I think she'd got round about 7, but I went back and redone steps 1. Was okay. Yeah, it's done. And she'd done the cockpit okay. The tub has gone in okay. Then the wings went on. Okay, so we're at the stage, the engines went in okay. And I think I'd sprayed the wheelbase white and the intakes white. So that's where I think that's where we'd got to. I'm not sure whether that's supposed to be a gap there, though. Anyone in here built a Hornet before? Let me see if I can see from further instructions. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a gap there. So where I'm looking at the moment is bring this back. There's one both sides.
Bob said yeah.
It's supposed to be a gap. Just I'm looking at the top here, Rob. Just at the top there of that. Just that gap there. Is that meant to be like that? while he gets back to me on that, we'll work on the next steps, because I believe, looking at that, we must have got to step 6, which we done, and we're on to 7 now. So 7 is the front landing gear. And why has none of this been painted apart from... Right, so we need to start painting this. No, it's not beyond. No, it's not far from it. It's not that far out. It's always the same, struggling with, you know, when to paint and when not to paint. That is the question. So, what are the colours in here?
What said they are the tinted?
Yeah, I know, but just at the top there, is there meant to be that gap?
You said yes twice.
Oh, right, yeah, so, okay, then that's good then. Where's the colour reference on? Oh, here we go. So they're the little black. So we're looking at 12, 5, mainly 12. These are normally white or silver with a bit of silver. 5 is going to be the tyre. 5 is the tyre. 12. So are we saying completely white? Let me just check what 5 is. No, black. "12 is white." Yeah, 12 is white. 12 is white. Yeah, right. So I think I can probably do that little tiny piece by hand. And then that will save. And we can probably do that by hand as well. Let's have a go at doing some tiny pieces by hand. Let's select a good enough brush. We'll use a number 2, Italeri number 2, or, yeah, it's the one I use the most, Italeri number 2. It's quite a big one. I want to make sure I don't lose the detail. It does need priming. Let's see what we can do first. No, it needs priming. If it's going to be done, it needs to be done properly. So, okay. They're only small pieces, so I should get away with priming just here. What I normally do in this situation, this is basically all white. I'm going to use Ultimate Primer Badgerstein or Res White, and that will be the finished colour as well. I'm not going to use this primer and then go over it with white. This is more than adequate for using as a finished colour. I've done it many, many times with many different kits. I've used the black, the white, I've used the green as well, and they're rather nice rust colour that they've got. And on their own, they're very good. So if you come across something that needs to be painted, like a tank that needs to be painted a particular shade of green, and that shade of green is the same as the badge of Steiner was, then, you know, you could get away with just using that. I'm going to get shot down for saying that. So we're just going to do in this wheel well. I'm just going to check that inside the wheel well is meant to be white.
What? I'm not going to bed.
Just need to find out where the wheel well is. 13. Dark dull grey. It is actually already the colour it needs to be. I've already done it. So that just means we need to So I'm just going to try and grab this by an area that's got to be glued. No, no, this isn't. That's the metallics. Got to make sure you're getting all the little nooks and crannies with these. That's the trouble. And the beauty is it dries so quick. And if it just dry, the main place you need to dry as quick as possible are the areas where it's going to lay on something. Oh, can something dry too quick? I don't think so. Although, yes, it can. It can dry if the spray atomizes and dries before it hits the plastic, then that can cause a problem. That can cause now. I will put a disclaimer in here that I'm not a airbrush expert, but if memory serves me correctly, if you spray and it dries too soon, you end up with a speckled, grainy sort of finish on the surface of your model. May feel a little bit like braille, not as big as braille, but you know, very, very fine, rough texture to it. And that, as far as I'm aware, is normally an indication that your paint's drying too quick. So if you get that, you could turn your pressure up a little bit so that the paint's out quicker. But generally, I think that happens when the weather's really hot. Sorry, I was just looking for some airbrush cleaner. Yeah. I never actually got this cleaned earlier on. I'd done after I'd finished spraying some stuff on the Airfix build, I was supposed to strip this airbrush down and give it a damn good clean. Unfortunately, I forgot, and that could have gone wrong, especially as I ended up needing to use the airbrush. Mind you, I could have used the backup one. Yeah, it's still a bit, there's definitely something in the way in here. Needs looking at. Tell you what, just to be certain, I have got a spray can of some really powerful stuff that's used to clean blockages out of airbrushes. But the thing is, yeah, it's rather smelly, so I have to, can't do that on here. A little bit of coating on the tip of the brush there, so I think right. There we go. It's good enough for now. I can finish that off later. Just pop that in there. So we've got our front wing together. Wing. Oh, that's the wing. We're in trouble. And that's going to go. I'm looking at that from that direction. That's going to go on here. Like so. And that's supposed to sit in that hole there. Would help if I got it the right way around. I just need to check. That doesn't actually, that's not meant to be on there. It's a tiny little bit of sprue gate that's been left on the one of the flaps. That needs to come off. It does look like it's meant to be there, but Just going to double check because it does actually look as though it's meant to be there. But I don't think it is meant to be there. So I'm going to use the Super Duper Display single blade cutters. Don't forget the Russian build is still going on till 31st of December.
Rob said, sorry Mark, that's the Navy version. Roger in the Blue Angels version.
Oh, right. Yeah, so he started with an apology, so I don't know what that means. You're going to turn around and say the intakes are on back to front now.
What you're going to be better off doing with that is keeping it to one side when you want to test in.
No, because I've got one of those. I've got my Sabre dog for that.
Don't mention it's a dog from home.
Although we're going to have to, constantly think ahead when you're on these builds, because I've got to think ahead of the painting of the body. By putting that on now, I've now given myself a headache later, where I've got to mask all that off. I think I'm actually better off leaving that off for now. It's painted, so it's ready to go on. It just needs to go on. But this whole body needs priming. So I really need to stick to areas. So let's have a look. We can put this on. Trouble is now, I don't know.
They are just going to build it, prime it and bake it.
No, you see, well, you can't really do that because there's so many different colours. And none of these little parts that have been taken off.
Life doesn't come with instruction book.
So we've got, these are all white on the inside. Okay. Now I think that and that those two belong down here. Now I can see they've been glued on because there's fingerprints all over it. So the first thing we're going to do there is get a sander out.
Probably enjoying doing that more and more because you fix the mistakes and you like doing that.
And just gently clean up the glue that's there we go. Because otherwise when we come to paint this one especially has got to gnarly. I don't know if you're going to see that. Oh, that it focuses on. Brilliant. When I want to show, you know, when I want to show the face and the work that I've been doing, no, it won't go. But put a little tiny piece of grey plastic in front of it and it's like the bloody Hubble's telescope. That's infuriating. There we go. And then just And that's what this sort of thing's designed for. It's brilliant. Really works a treat. So we can put these on. And I would say in the picture we're looking at it like that. So we're probably going to paint these by hand. These little flaps will probably be painted by hand inside. It says number 2. Number 12 on the inside, yeah. Okay, that's no problem. I'm not sure whether that is right now because that seems to be bigger than that. Let me see what else we've got. We've got 2 more here. I need to check the sprues because neither of them look right. So we're looking for B8 and B9. E. In fact, I've got to do the bargain basement, and we're rapidly running out of time. Sprue. That's E.
Bargain basement, you can sort that out for next week. Or just give up.
I'm not giving up. A. So this has got to be B, surely. B. Right, so have we got B8 and B9 on here? Please tell me. We have, yes. They haven't been put on yet. Excellent. So, yes, we're going to leave that build there. I'm sorry it's such a short one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this build the Wednesday night build. So I will only do that on a Wednesday night. And that way everyone can follow along with that, if that's agreeable with everybody. So for now, we'll all go back. I need a little pot to put. See, what I normally do is when I have a build on the go, I have a little tray, tub that I put the current build in with all the little pieces. And I should have one. But at the moment, I'm not sure where. So we'll pop that there. And just for now, because we will put these pieces in here so we know that everything in here is for the Hornet. 1/72 Hornet, which is very small. Did I tell everyone about the Russian build? Right. Right, so if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to happen now. Because I still haven't managed to upgrade the laptop. But let's keep our fingers crossed. First of all, I just need to open up the folder. Right, pictures, where are they? And need live show. What are we, the 5th, aren't we? There we go. Let me get my info. So I've left a little bit of the kit out there. What has everyone else been doing? The school holidays are over now, so those of you with kids will obviously be celebrating. As the kids go back, and in most cases that means you'll have some peace and quiet. Right, there we go. So fortunately, I've just now got to go on to share the screen, and we're good to go. Right. Now then, right. You should all be seeing now the first kit, and I will just come along to the right section. And this is a new tool. So it's the Revel 148th Bristol Bowfighter, TFX or TF10 that might be, from $36.99 down to $32.50, including Hermes UK postage. So a great little buy there, and it looks a beautiful plane actually. I quite like that, the shape of it, and yeah, that's something I'd like. But I should mention, I forgot to mention at the beginning that although all these kits can be bought, and I will indeed give you the numbers for them for Mike Jolly's model kits for less, I am in no way affiliated with them. I do not get paid to do this. They are not asked to do this. They've treated me very well. They've been very kind to me, and this is just something that I thought would serve members that maybe aren't in the Model Kits for Less club, or you know, and other people, and you know, just a little bit to say thank you to them for things, you know, helping me out in the past. So that's that. That's the Bristol Bowfighter by Revel. And we'll move on to the second one. I've got this, but it's in a Revel kit. And this is the Airfix 172nd Handley Page Victor K2. Now, the number for this is A12009. And it's down from $59.99 to $51.99, but that does include Hermes UK postage, and it says due out third quarter. Now, I don't know if it's already out or whether it's incoming, or you would have to find that out for yourself. But doesn't it look a beautiful plane? If that's the... I'm not a fan of Airfix's artwork, their box art, but that, if they use that as their box art, that's a beautiful picture. Yeah, it's running. You got a bit of lag.
Oh, we've got a plane round.
You got the Revel plane.
Oh, the brown one.
I don't know, because I'm, you know, I don't know what you're looking at. So there we go. Then we've got a motorbike. So I picked a motorbike for those of you that are into the bikes. And this is the GSX 750S Suzuki Katana. £20.50 including Hermes delivery. And that's due in November 18. So this will be a pre-order, I guess. And it looks a nice bike. Now, this one I love. And if I was to be buying anything, it would be this. It's amazing. I really do like this. It's a Hasegawa, and the number is HWM05. It's 135th Yanmar tractor, and the number on it is YT5113A. Now, I don't know whether... I'm not sure which one's... I think that's the tractor model. I think the HWM05 is the Hasegawa number that you need. Damn, that is a bloody nice tractor. That is. Yeah, I like that. It's down $39.99 to $34.50, including Hermes UK, and that's due out in the fourth quarter 2018. So the last part of the year, we should see that. Yeah, it's a nice kit. Yeah, I think that would look really nice on the shelf. Oh well. Moving on. Another one that I like, although I've got, I don't know, this is the... It's a new release, Hobby Boss, and the code for this is HBB 81766, and it's the Hobby Boss A4M Skyhawk, and that's $37.99 down to $33.50, and that also includes Hermes delivery in the UK. And some of these kits, you've got to think, get in there quick, because otherwise you're not going to get them. For example, this afternoon, it's not on here now, but there were a set of Vallejo model color metallics. There was a set of 8 of them, and they were $18.99 down to $9.90. They sold out in between me writing it and going and coming on live tonight. They sold out. So you've got to get in quick with some of these. Not so much the pre-orders, although it will secure that you get one in most cases. Obviously, I'm just surmising on a lot of these things because I don't know how Mike runs his business, but I would guess if you pre-order, you've got a greater chance of getting something. Moving forward, we've got... Oh, I'm never going to say that. It's Edward EDK 11119. It's 148 scale. It's due soon. It is a dual combo FW190A-8/R2 and a BF109 G6/14. And it says Reichsverteidigung Reichsverteidigung limited edition. Yeah. And it's there to, you know, it's one of their limited edition kits, and the price on that is $59.99 down to £50, including Hermes. So that's what you'll be paying on that. Nice kit. Not one for me, I don't think, but yeah, there's a lot of people that would appeal to. And then we've got another bike, and this time it's a Tamiya 112th. Number is 14. I can't read my own writing now. I think that's 14029. Suzuki RG250F. It says full options. I don't know what that means, but it's full options. $24.99 and down to $23.50. It doesn't say whether there's any postage with that. So, and that's due out October 18. So that's pretty imminent. Then we've got, now I put something in for the shipbuilders, and these are going to be two of the limited special offers. So if you're interested in these, you need to get in quick, because these will go if they haven't already gone. And the first one is the Academy HMS Warspite. The number is ACA 14105. It's a 1/350th kit, and I believe it's an Elizabeth class destroyer. Limited special offer. It includes postage in Hermes UK, and it's down from $54.99 to $39.50. So there's a little bit of money off there, and I should imagine that's going to be quite a big kit. Oh yeah, it says there Queen Elizabeth class. Yeah, very nice. The second one is another ship, but to even things up, we've got one. We got one from the German side now, and it is the Trumpeter TRU 05628. It's again a 1/350 scale. It's a German sort of aircraft carrier, and it says DKM. The Peter Strasser, DKM Peter Strasser. Registered retail price on one of those beauties is £114.99, but you can get it today for £77.50, including Hermes UK. That's going to be a big kit. It looks very, that'll look nice on a display though, I've got to say. And finally, for the armor people, I picked a tank, and this is a TACOM 02065. It's the 135th US heavy tank. It's a T30/T34 2-in-1. I think that just means you can build either the T30 or the T34 out of that one box. I don't think it's meaning you get two kits. Registered retail price $53.99. Limited special offer $35.50, and that includes Hermes UK postage. And there we go. That's this week's bargains that I've selected. We'll just come out of that now. And we're back. So there we go. And look at that. We're just 4 minutes shy of 9:30. So I hope you have all found this evening interesting. I hope I haven't put too many of you to sleep. And not a lot else I can say, really. It went along quite well, I thought. And we'll be back next week with, I don't know whether I've got anything scheduled to be finished. So there'll probably be more building next week than looking at finished models. And so I might be going into a hangout. If anyone wants to do a hangout, if they let me know, private message me in the next sort of 5 minutes, because otherwise, if there isn't going to be anyone, I shall go off and do something else. Okay, so thanks for watching, and we will see you all next week. Bye for now.